Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault Jersey. Joe Archino back here. And I think the question we got to start off with today, has Kevin Durant become the forgotten man? Last night, the Oklahoma City Thunder defeating the New York Knicks 128 to 122. Kevin Durant putting on a show like we're so accustomed to seeing. 44 points, 14 rebounds. But it's an interesting question, and it kept on kind of going back and forth in my head. Has Kevin Durant become the forgotten man? All the attention this year, of course, and it's been building off of last season, has gone to Stephen Curry. He is now the face of the league. He's the most popular player. He sells the most jerseys. His team is the best in the NBA. Their style's attractive to everyone. He's a good, clean-cut guy. He's got a good family. There's nothing really not to like about Stephen Curry, and clearly his play this season, he is the MVP once again. He has dominated the league, continuing that from last year, and he is the best player today in the game. But then, of course, you cannot forget about LeBron James. For so many years, the conversation was just always, of course, LeBron is at the top, and then Kevin Durant is behind him. But it's interesting how that dynamic has changed. It is now Stephen Curry number one, LeBron James number two, and Kevin Durant has kind of fallen to the three spot. But we just don't spend any significant amount of time talking about Kevin Durant anymore like we do with Stephen Curry, like we do with LeBron. Now, clearly, we still talk about Kevin Durant. The Oklahoma City Thunder are in third place in the Western Conference. They've had a tremendous season so far. But the dominant headlines are always grabbed now by Stephen Curry and by LeBron James. And I think you have to look at it from this point of view is what have those guys done and what has Kevin Durant done since coming off as MVP? The Oklahoma City Thunder have really not done anything significant in the most important games in the playoffs since losing to the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals. They haven't been able to really replicate the same team. I mean, let's be honest, there's no denying it. They have not been able to replace James Harden. They just haven't. They had a core big three there with Westbrook, with Durant, and with Harden. Harden, of course, you knew you were going to have to shell out some money for him, and he did get what he wanted when he went to Houston. But they have just not been able to find it. Something has been missing with that team since that happened, and I think Scott Brooks, from a coaching standpoint, did what he could, but I mean, it was time for a change. And Billy Donovan, we'll see this season, but I think last year, obviously, Durant's season more defined by injuries than anything, but still, the Thunder have not been able to replicate the same success since losing James Harden. Durant obviously won the MVP award in 2014, but still, what you're remembered by the most in this league is the playoffs. A lot of people don't even spend that much time watching the regular season of the NBA. So what you do in the playoffs will elevate your heroics and your popularity and your interest and your talkability to just another level. And LeBron James has been in the last 5 NBA Finals now. Stephen Curry is going to now, after this season, I've picked the Warriors to be back and win it all again. So he will most likely be coming off 2 NBA titles and 2 MVP awards. Stephen Curry is quickly just solidifying his spot as the top player in this league. Now, clearly, those 2 other things haven't happened yet, but I think if we're all honest, based on what we've seen this year, that's most likely what's going to happen. And LeBron James is kind of, I'm not going to say the window is closing, but it's at the end. He's kind of probably got another 4 top-level years in him left with the Cleveland Cavaliers, if that's what his future entails, which I think for the most part it probably will. But it's amazing how things have dramatically shifted. I mean, you just think about it. For me personally, I can't even tell you how many segments I've done devoted strictly to Kevin Durant. I can't even count how many I've done on LeBron James. I can't even count how many I've done on Stephen Curry and the Warriors. It's just interesting. This happens in sports all the time. It doesn't, and it's just all from number 2 to number 3. Stephen Curry 1, LeBron James 2, and then Kevin Durant now at 3, and the 3 guy is always the forgotten man. Number 2, I mean, look, number 1 is always going to generate the most attention. LeBron James, from the time he went to Miami, probably till about losing in the finals last year, was all about him, and now it's quickly shifted to Stephen Curry. And again, Kevin Durant has kind of become the forgotten man. Now, maybe I'm a little bit crazy here with what I'm thinking, but I mean, you look at Durant's numbers this year, they're Kevin Durant numbers. I mean, 26 6.6 points per game, fourth in the league, 7.7 rebounds per game, and 4.5 assists per game. He's doing what he does. I mean, there's no decline in his play. He's still as good as it gets in this league. Anybody would take him. But at the end of the day, it's just, I think it all comes down to your talkability. And right now, Kevin Durant's talkability is nowhere near the same level as Stephen Curry and as LeBron James. It's just in terms of interest, those two guys have done a lot more significant stuff when it matters most. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to elevate you above the rest. What do you do when it matters most? LeBron James almost single-handedly won that series without Kyrie Irving and without Kevin Love. That in itself really helps solidify his career even more, because there's always going to be people who are going to knock LeBron for the losses in the NBA Finals. He could very well end his career with more losses in the finals than wins. But even Magic Johnson had 5 wins and 4 losses in the NBA Finals. It is so hard to get there, and just the fact that you were able to bring your team there so many times. And let's be honest with LeBron, a lot of the teams that he brought there, he carried there, and especially that's another case in point. Taking over that Cavaliers team with so much youth in year one and taking them to the finals and doing all that work by yourself. That is remarkably impressive. And again, with Stephen Curry, his first rodeo there in the NBA Finals, getting the job done, and he'll most likely be back again. But I think it's an interesting question. I'm very curious to see what people think about that. I mean, what has happened with this whole phenomenon? Has Kevin Durant become the forgotten man? I can't say it any more simple than that. I'm curious to see what people think about that. I really am, because for me, again, in terms of interest, in terms of just strictly ranking the best basketball players today, it's Curry, it's LeBron, and then it's Durant. But again, I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Comment at the end of this video and let me know what you think. Until next time, though, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I'll be back very soon.